a caterpillar going into its chrysalis. Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Teresa, and this Fan Site Friday is going to look a little bit different, and probably the next one or two as well. So as much as it is my mission to help educate sex workers, I also think it's very important for us to have an identity outside of our work. So the next few videos I will be putting out going into the new year are going to be all about energetically aligning with your purpose and reprogramming your identity, which I talked a little bit about in the video that I released on Tuesday, which was just a list of my goals for 2022. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you a list of the 10 questions that I asked myself before I made that list of goals for 2022 in order to just do some introspection. Some of these questions I pulled from specific creators. There's one or two in particular you'll hear me talk about, and then some are kind of general. And then there are a few questions that I just felt as if I was called to ask myself while answering these other people's questions. So these are the 10 questions that I asked myself, and I'm gonna go in the exact order that they were in my journal so that you know exactly what I was doing when I set those goals that I talked about on Tuesday. So let's get started. The first question is from this YouTuber. I don't actually know how I'm supposed to pronounce it because it's like ST Ruthless. So is it like S Truthless? Is it like Saint Ruthless? Is it just supposed to be like Struthless? Like, I don't really know. But I watched one of his videos and he asks first 3 questions. These are actually out of order of what he says in the video, but this is, like I said, how I did them, the order that they were in my journal. So the first 3 questions that he asks in his video is, first, what did you want 5 years ago? So looking at my own life, what I wanted 5 years ago is so different from not only where I am now, but the second question is, what do I want now? And you probably already guessed that the third question is, what do I think I'll want 5 years from now? So it's kind of just building that trajectory of like where you were, where you are, and where you want to be. Another question he poses is, what would I do if I only had 6 months to live? But we know that like this is a pretty common thing that like self-help people ask when you're trying to find your true purpose. And then he also asks, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? Which maybe a little less so, but it's pretty commonly used. The next question was something that I brought up for myself because this word kept coming up in all of the other questions that I had answered, which is fulfillment. So I had to answer for myself, what is fulfillment to me? And to me, it was all about balance. So it wasn't like success, which is success maybe monetarily in my career. It's pretty superficial. And I also don't want to be one of those people who is like a starving artist or anything either. Like, I think that you need balance in life, and I think that that is what fulfillment is for me. I think success and fulfillment have subjective definitions, so journaling about this question can really help you come clear with what you truly want for your life, because you might be thinking that in order to show that you're successful, you need to buy a Ferrari to show everybody that you're successful. But if you're like me and you are not a good driver and your car is messed up already, and you already pay a bunch of money in insurance because you know that driving is not your thing, cars are not your main priority in life. So why would you buy that Ferrari in order to prove to other people around you that you're successful? You definitely need to zero in on the definition of success, or like I said, fulfillment, because I think fulfillment goes a step further, not only to your material successes, but also just those things that fill up your cup and make you feel aligned and fulfilled and happy. I got this idea from a video by Haley Gamba but I also think that it is also a fairly common practice, which is what does a day in my ideal life look like for me? And I kind of struggled with this one at first because I think I was thinking too far into the future. Like I couldn't picture what my ideal life looked like. But then I sat down and thought about just next semester. And I actually wrote down every single day of the week, like what a perfect day would look like for me for the next semester. So I guess I did this as like a weekly thing because my schedule just kind of like fluctuates. So I like to bucket all of my tasks into days that have been categorized. So I found it a lot more helpful to do this exercise for every single day of the week, but you might not need to do that. And then I went back to, like I said, Struthless, I think is his name. He also asked this question that was like, if the world were ending in 2 weeks, what would I miss? Like, what would you be sad that you never got to experience? And this is where I think a lot of my themes of travel and exploration came in, because that's something that's very important to me, but I think that I continue to put it on the back burner because, you know, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources, etc., etc. So that is why I added to my list of goals. You know, I wanted to get back into that practice of traveling and visiting those 5 states this year. And obviously the pandemic has set us back a little bit, but I'm hoping that in 2022 and moving forward, like everything will start to open back up and I'll be able to reach that goal by the time I'm 30. And then the final 2 questions that I asked myself were, what do I want in 2022 and what are the themes of 2022? I actually wrote down kind of like 10 themes that I think will happen in 2022. So like I mentioned in my video about setting goals and intentions, and how I feel as if I've been pretty secluded throughout the past year because I've been going through my Jupiter return. So I think I went through a lot of my time exploring and I'm finally starting to mature and my personality is solidifying, and that will give me the confidence in order to go out into the world and express my most authentic self. So some of the other themes that I talk about also are like transformation and enlightenment. And obviously I'm going to continue to grow throughout my entire life, but I see this stage almost as like a caterpillar going into its chrysalis. And you know, I have been very secluded for the past year, and going into 2022 I am hoping to see more growth and connection in order to set myself up for the rest of my life. I truly think that your 20s are all about just like exploring and collecting new experiences so that maybe like in your 30s you can kind of reflect and begin building whatever you intend to make of your life. And then kind of your 40s are like your peak, you know? I always talk about dating older men, and I think that that's why I'm so attracted to men in their 40s. So as I'm reaching this halfway point, you know, obviously in 2022, I will be turning 24. So I'm starting to look at, you know, I'm gonna be 25 in a little over a year. That's halfway through my 20s. So I need to start getting serious and maybe not totally like locking myself in and making huge commitments, which I struggle with anyway. I'm either like all in or all out, and that is something that I have been learning to get over in my life. But the beginning of this new year has definitely got me reflecting on how I'm aging and maturing and just getting older in general. So I've been doing a lot of introspection, not only right now, but I've been doing it for the past year or maybe 2. I've been journaling and I have been in therapy. So these exercises were pretty easy for me to know what I really want. But if you don't really know what you want, hopefully these journaling prompts will spark some inspiration for you And if they do, make sure that you give this video a big thumbs up and hit the red subscribe button down below and the gray notification bell so that you are notified every time I upload new content. Like I said, going into the new year, I will be producing new content kind of like this, where I talk a little bit more about identity, reprogramming, and just like creating a new life going into the new year. I really want to spread some of the messages of what I've been doing for my own life with my audience, as small as it may be. Hopefully it will grow this year as I upload 100 YouTube videos. There's actually a reason that that goal is worded that way, rather than I want 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. I said I want to upload 100 videos because I can't control how many subscribers I have, but I can control how many videos that I put up. So if you are really excited to hear some of my thoughts on identity, self-development, I'm really excited to be able to share this information with you, because I feel as if I don't always get this opportunity because of the niche that I usually create content in. But I do think that it is especially important for premium content creators and also full service sex workers. Obviously, that's not what I do, but I think it's important for everyone that falls under that umbrella of work to have an identity outside of it. Because if you just put too much stock in your identity as a sex object, then you won't value yourself as much. And I want you to value yourself, which is why I am creating this content. So I really hope that you will join my community and help support me. And I will see you in the next one.